Oh yeah, y'all are good. My original size for the hydrofacial class that I created, but I made y'all some pretty decent impromptu ones that make sense. And I'm gonna close this real quick. I know I have two people that have facials. I think one is 11:30, the other one is at 12. Is that right? Joanna, don't you have a facial at 12 or okay. So I'll try to at least wrap up the theory and me showing you guys how hydrofacials work by that time so that way they can get to their appointments and then those of you all that are on campus can play with the machine hands on. So for those that are online wondering, this one it doesn't have to be a 3 hour class. So you guys are good. But yeah, y'all can hear me now. So that is awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be fine. What am I doing? I have my iPad. iPad's over paper. I like being green. Or I do, at least. But I hope you guys are ready to start seeing some more new faces come in with the new class that's coming. Yes, no, maybe. And we're going to be kind to them. Always being kind. Between online and in person for aesthetics, is it aesthetics or last year was 33? I can't remember. Or was it the total number? Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, okay. Find out on Monday. Monday. And of course, next week will be, hey, go this way. Yeah, kind of. I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. What happens when it's warm outside? We forget our sweaters in here once we take them off. And let me know if it gets too stuffy in here. I know it gets warm once the door is closed sometimes. Sometimes it freezes more. I know it's been weird because when we had our staff development, I know I was back in the corner with two blankets as soon as we got started because I was like, I know how this goes. I'm not crazy. I'm waving Monica in case y'all were like, what are you doing? Wow. Okay. Hmm. So, hydrofacial. What? Ugh, are you one of those that doesn't like the word moist? Oh, well, this is about to get real moist here. Thank you for helping me open the class session with that. It's greatly appreciated. So, hydrofacials. I today I'm gonna just spin it as the what, the when, the why, the how situation to make it easy to understand. So that usually works for me. So hydrofacials, of course, you may see hydro and hydra facials. One is a brand versus the actual modality. So the difference in clinics and tissues or band-aid and bandage. One is a name brand, one is the modality itself. So it is wet resurfacing, because I know you guys have probably gotten a little used to microdermabrasion at this point, at least seen it or seen the machine. Okay, don't worry, we're gonna do some training today. I got an elbow ready for you.
Oh.
So we can microderm one of my elbows and then accelerator 35 the other and see what results we have next week. Because I've been wanting to resurface my elbows. I've got some ingrown hairs. So that is something that can help with this because it will hydrate while it exfoliates. So wet resurfacing, hydrating, exfoliating. So I could imagine that y'all know exactly where that would fit in a Pro 60. But before we get to that, of course, first you would do a consultation before you get into any type of service on anyone because you never know what could have changed in between the last time you've seen them or if it is your first time seeing them. You need to know what is going on with their skin and their body before you get started and then that. And we don't want to have to deal with that. Now I don't know what this picture was. I just looked for a picture that had some stuff going on so that way I could grab you all early in the morning. But some of the major contraindications, which any of your contraindications that you have for any type of resurfacing, such as microdermabrasion or a chemical peel, would still be true for your hydrofacial machine. So anything like if they have recently waxed their face, like they just came from getting it waxed and they're coming to you, that would be an issue. So that would be recent resurfacing in that area. If they just had a chemical peel, this is not for them because we are using vacuum suction, even though we are using water. So still, it's resurfacing, don't use it on them. But a lot of the serums that are usually used in hydrofacial machines have citrus or vitamin C. So if they have any citrus allergies, I don't want them walking out looking like that. I really don't know what happened. It looks like she hit her face though. But either way, it's still just that. If they are on blood thinners, there are some people that usually can get a not a doctor's excuse, but they can be cleared by a doctor to have certain treatments done. That's what they would need to have done in this case. Retinol, of course, is vitamin A, and in any retinol derivatives, um, they cannot use this machine. They cannot have the service performed on them, no matter how much they say. I stopped doing it a week ago. If you've been using any type of retinol for the past 2 weeks, not touching your face with this machine. Now, if you've been just using it topically on your knees and then you decide to get a hydrofacial, absolutely fine. But I wouldn't think, can y'all think of a case when somebody would use on their other parts of their body but not their face? Just curious. Okay. Oh, well, I'm like, you can say it.
Well, there's this, I use this product called Lather by Hospital,
Okay.
and it's like to help get rid of cakey.
Okay. So she says that she uses retinol on her body. So in her case, of course, we just wouldn't use it on any of her body parts. But like I said, I wanted to get my elbow done. So if I was somebody that was using those products, those resurfacers on my elbows, then we could not, it would not be suggested to use it in those areas that you have been using retinol. So yeah, but as long as you haven't been using it on your face, absolutely. Which I was gonna say, your face looks amazing too after your microdermabrasion that you just had. So today you are not a candidate for this. You can don't look at it. You can use it on other people. You can practice. You are not getting this on you. You are not a candidate today. But yes, I do want you guys to practice so I can hand out some hydrofacial certificates for seeing this hands-on practice work. And remember, we are skincare specialists. So like I said, I want my elbows done. Maybe somebody may need their legs done. And that would be a great way for you guys to practice today in case somebody just had something done to their face, but you guys need a body part to practice on so that I can see that you understand how to apply it and break your suction. The back. That would be great right before you do some extractions too, in case they have extractions on there. But I also want you guys to think extremely far outside the box when it comes to hydrofacial. Because say somebody's trying to switch from their aluminum based deodorant over to a more organic one or a natural deodorant. How about doing an underarm detox with hydrofacial machine? Ew. Money, 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 money. I know I'm about the money. If it ain't about the money, don't be blowing my line, wasting my time. If it ain't about the money. Now, I teach because I love it. But outside of here, when it comes to my salon space, mm, every dollar counts per minute. So I'm like, what can I add on? What else can I get people to do? So underarm detoxes. Because you'd be shocked how many people just have impacted deodorant stuck in their pores, clogging their pores in their underarm. So use the machine. Wow, and you'd be shocked. They get some really good results outside. Even just doing like facials on their underarms is usually a great, yeah. Yeah, I always have y'all doing everything. Beach bum facials. We do facials on the butt. Why not? Get you ready for this hydrofacial on the butt. Let's go. I'm with it. He's like, I want it. Then I get all the volunteers. There we go. Yes, I love it. I love that y'all excited about it. So the win. This will happen in module 2. So your resurfacing module. So with this, you are going to need to prep the skin with your double cleanse, which is module 1. So we're going to use what as your first cleanse when it comes to cleansing? Pre-cleanse, yes. Let me see if any of mine. None of my online people got to tell me pre-cleanse. I hate when it does this weird freaky thing where I can see like an extra shadow on my hand sometimes when I move it. Like
Pre-cleanse.
Yes, thank you. I feel like that was Christina. I was like, what is it?
Yeah, that was me.
Yep, because she's at the top. She's like, yes, that's me. Like always. And what cleanser? It's a trick question. Yes, the one for their skin type. Thank you. See, I get my little trick questions when I try to sprinkle them in. Love it. So yes, choose the appropriate one for their skin type. I will say, even if they are in oilier texture, I probably wouldn't go with necessarily the active clay cleanser or something like that right before I would go with the hydrofacial machine. I would probably stick to the special cleansing gel just because it's going to clear their skin really well without drying them out before you're going into your service. Let's see, somebody trying to get in? Come on down, Paige. There we go. So choosing the correct serum. So you guys have options. I know if you look online and look up hydrofacial machine, you'll probably see 3 bottles. One is usually a hydrating one. One usually has a little bit of salicylic in it, and the other one is usually a citrus-based one if you get on Amazon, because I know y'all like to get on Scamazon sometimes. Just make sure you get the right products. Get products that fit your machine, because sometimes if you get a certain machine, it may not work with most products. But with ours here, we can actually use distilled water mixed with some of our really, really awesome Dermalogica serums, because our rep actually mentioned to me that these could actually be put in distilled water and placed into our machines and run through the machines. So for you all's additional options, we have niacinamide, which would be great for acneic skin if they're trying to address some of those concerns. We have a hyaluronic acid. Anyone know what hyaluronic acid does? Does it what? Yes, hydrate. Yes, come on, Ismaili. Yeah, Ismaili said, I got this one. Yes. So yes, hyaluronic acid is going to hydrate. Don't be fooled just because it's called an acid. It doesn't burn. It fluffs the skin. And then we have our Power Bright Ion Active. So brightening, of course. This will be great for something that starts with an H. Yes, hyperpigmentation or the dark spot. Yes. So you guys have options. And these still had some of our original serums in them. So you guys can play with those today. But also, let's see, where's my cord? On the back of the machine, we have our distilled water and then also the waste tank. So you can actually use just the distilled water. And today, if you guys, when y'all are practicing, if you don't want to use a serum on whichever body part you're working on, you can use just distilled water so that way I can see you guys practicing. So if you want to do distilled water over someone's arm, that's absolutely fine. You can select that because you can choose the selection from the top. Which, so they'll just do a little resurfacing with some mild hydration there. Let me see. I think somebody needs to get in or no? Oh, Christina was asking, is there an affordable machine and would you recommend getting an affordable or would this be something you need to splurge a little? So I will say this one is the like $200 Amazon machine. Yeah. I will say one thing, doesn't come with instructions. So make sure you pay attention today. So because when we got it in, they were like, we got you a hydrofacial machine. They were like, and you need to write the protocol for it. And I was like, I'm glad I've used one before. So if you get this one that has the W on the side, it's really hard to search and try to figure out like what are the instructions and even everything else that came with it and like the box itself because it didn't come with a single pamphlet, none of that. So be aware if you go for a lower cost machine that may be what you come up with. But this one does have a lot of other modalities on it, which I won't go too much into today. I'll describe them for y'all quickly later. But I want y'all to focus on the hydrofacial aspect of it. But getting back into this real quick, let's finish off this slide. So, and I keep watching like, is she gonna come in and hit me with the door? You're welcome, Christina. You can now, if you do spend a little more money, you will end up probably with a brand that will rep you and they will make sure they educate you. So that is part of paying the higher price is that usually they either send someone out to educate you. I know now everything is like a Zoom call, so they will educate you that way also. But also usually if your machine needs to be repaired, they will send you a machine while yours is being repaired. So that's also the caveat to a higher price when it comes to any of your multifunction machines. Pay a little more, that means there's a little more that comes with it. So, which I mean is not bad because a lot of times you get lifelong additions that they add and upgrades, or they'll let you. But sometimes they have a buyback program where if a new machine, the upgraded one comes out, they'll buy yours back because then yours becomes that loaner machine when there are repairs. So a lot of them usually have buyback programs. So look into it, take your time. But of course, Amazon has some good ones. This was kind of a scamazon since it had no instructions with it, but it's okay. At least somebody knew how to use it correctly. Exactly. And it does. It works really well. All the modalities, even they were doing facelifts the other night with this part, and I was like, okay, now even it out. What are you doing? Even it out. She was like, really, is it bad? And it was like one eyebrow was up and the other was. I was like, girl, get this right. Okay, because y'all know I'll make the whole comedy hour. Let me rein it in. But I'm feeling good on time enough. So with this, you've chosen your correct serum to fit the skin type. We talked about different serums and what each does, and y'all answered beautifully. So resurfacing with the hydrofacial machine, that's when you will take this wonderful wand, which I will go into further detail on how to use it, how to turn everything on. But you'll take this wand, you will resurface their skin with the hydrofacial machine, and then you will cleanse off the excess product, and then you will start in with your extraction. Yes, Princess Joanna. I feel like Joanna's like that really girly girl. Like I feel like you're that really girly girl. So I was like, Princess Joanna. You know? Oh, you like the tussle. That's what it is. Okay. So I know someone tussle with me. That's fine. So the how. So how to use the machine. First, plug it in. Because I've seen that sometimes. I even did it the other night. I was like, why is the machine not turning on? So next would be flip the red switch on the side and make sure the light is on. Because even the other night, like I said, I flipped the switch and was like, what's going on? Why is it not turning on? And then finally somebody said, is the plug all the way in? And they're like, and then I saw the light turn. I was like, you know what? You should get paid the big bucks. You need all the money for that. So make sure that the light is on. But I know all our machines are a little different. So find where the switches are, play around before you get a client. They'll be fumbling and look, why did you? She's like, I'm scared. So, and you'll see these little bubbles on the screen. So there are some little bubbles that are moving right now. Don't be afraid to touch the screen because you actually have to touch the screen. So then all the modalities will pop up for you. So with this particular machine, you can actually push the button that's on the side of the one. So this one has a button and it will start the machine. Or you can actually use the button on here that says abrasion, which is for, uh, I should say, hydrodermabrasion. And then it'll also turn on the machine. But you can turn it off and on here or there. But usually if you're working, you're probably going to have it in your hand and you're going to want to push the button with your thumb or whichever is convenient for you, left or right handed. And the great thing about these nozzles is you can put them on any direction that you need. So because it doesn't screw on, it just pushes right down or you pull it right back up. So no, don't stop. Right, there we go. So it just pulls right up. I know I had to do a little twisting motion. Normally my left hand is stronger than my right hand, but y'all know my slightly broken middle finger doesn't always work correctly right now. So it's hard. It hurts a little when I grip things. So notice I placed in there wearing gloves. Anytime you are doing anything that could possibly be resurfacing or abrasive to the skin, I want you guys to remember to always put on gloves, whether it is waxing, microdermabrasion, what else? Somebody told me one yesterday that I had forgotten to. I think it was you two. No, not high frequency. You're good without gloves on. High frequency. I think it was Laura that mentioned it while y'all were doing the microderm. You were like, oh yeah, what about extractions? Yes. So think of any time that you're resurfacing like that or are doing, I would say, a high level resurface. Because I mean, daily microfoliant, you don't have to. But I'm one of those that I wear gloves my entire facial anyway. So I'm just used to having gloves on, but I always have to remember to remind you all to wear your gloves. And that is a Texas law. That is not a Miss LA is coming in here telling me to put on gloves. No, that is the state law is to make sure you have gloved hands. So, and I know I like mine to fit tight, but choose accordingly for you all. I'll make sure they're stocked today so that way you guys can get through the machine. So wearing gloves, test the suction, and you can test the suction on your client's arm if you would like, but be careful even with testing on them. If you do decide to test on yourself, make sure that you have an additional tip available so you can take the one off that you have used on yourself, swap that out, and put a new tip on before you get on your client. So yeah, because I've seen that happen. I've seen a student like microdermabrasion, like, okay, that's good. I'm like, wait, stop, don't touch her face. It's dirty now. Dirty. Watch it. So adjust your suction accordingly if you need to after that, and then also a clean tip on there. And do make sure that you hold the skin taut before you place. So taut means just snug enough so that way you can drag across the skin smoothly. Because if you don't, then when you go to try to break that seal, because it's like a vacuum, or it's not a like it is a vacuum, and you're not only just vacuuming up the air like you would with a microderm machine, you now have water that you have to suction up also. So the suction's a little spicier. So make sure. And I have it dialed down pretty low, so you guys should be able to function with it really well. But remember when you're a little kid and you take the vacuum and you stick it on your hand and you're like, ah, and then you start trying to pull it off like, ooh, wait, my mom is coming, turn it off. Like your best bet is always to tilt it to the side to break the suction rather than pulling harder because that creates a nice hickey. We don't want to do a little hickey. Like, did y'all want to share? They were giving each other hickeys yesterday. She has a little one on her forehead.
Yeah,
it's not that noticeable, yeah. But that skin is gonna be beautiful. And I'm like, how cute is that when you have to say they were giving each other hickeys yesterday at school? So with the wand, when you are using it, what happened?
Oh, I never
Oh, your back feels good from your micro. Oh yeah, that's right. Y'all were microderming yesterday, all the parts.
no.
Okay. But I mean, they microderm, like they did back, faces, all the things. Yeah, it was like, we did our whole life. We're smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth and little kitties. Like, oh my gosh. All right, I like that smooth for the summer. So make sure you are keeping with upward strokes. So an upward motion. Did I like to keep strokes in an upward? Okay. See, I can type it properly, but my dyslexia, when I go back to read my own text, like, did I put that in the right order? So they understand it properly. So again, holding the skin taut and go in an upward motion. Now the difference here is where with microdermabrasion, you'll go horizontal and then vertical and then diagonal. Here you can just go with a more so a horizontal stroke because well, it may get a little diagonal when you get upward to get around the eye, but you don't have to pass over the face 2 or 3 times. Unless you just really need to rehydrate an area, like especially around the nasal area, so around the nose. And we actually have a smaller tip that's a little skinnier if you need to get around the nose. I know it's probably hard to see from back there, but this one's a little thinner than this one, so you can get into those small spaces and then, of course, larger spaces. And then we have a really big tip. I would say probably use this one more so for like if you're going to do a back or a larger area. And the reason for that is because a lot of water comes out of this one. So if you're not going slowly enough, it'll just look like you're spraying water all across their face because it's not suctioning up fast enough. So on someone's face, that can be really uncomfortable, which we definitely got to see during one of our, what was it, our staff development day. We were having fun with the machine, trying to test it out different ways and see like, how could this go wrong? Let's see. What might the students try? Because you all probably hear me say often, there's a right way to do the wrong thing. So I know because I was a kid that used to try to test things out in the worst possible way. Like it works this way, but what if? And my mom's like, don't, don't, don't do it like this. Hi. My mom was like, "Well, she's either gonna own a business, be an engineer, or go to jail. She's got 2 out of 3 chances to make this work really well. Let's see how it goes." And I mean, I give a little pushback every now and then. Y'all see me get sassy some days. But one of the most important parts is the cleaning because we don't want any of those exploded looking faces like on the first slide because bacteria. So again, if you are touching yourself with one tip, it is now contaminated. So you need to swap it out. But also at the end of your service, you will pop the tip off. Make sure you clean this with warm soapy water and rinse it before. Don't just go soapy water into the EPA disinfectant. And these can sit for 10 minutes. Now, I know with microdermabrasion, we do want those tips to be cleaned in alcohol and not the EPA, so that way they do not corrode and rust. But these can actually soak in the EPA, but try to make sure, or not even try to make sure you get all the skin and gunk out of there that you can possibly before soaking them in there. I don't want to see the EPA full of little fragments in the bottom with the little floaty when it gets cloudy at the bottom and it's nasty. So please do soak them. And in case you guys ever were wondering what EPA stood for, it's Environmental Protection Agency. And that might be a state board question. So gave you a cheat code. Environmental Protection Agency. And I will say number C. Whoa. We drinking this thing. No, I'm kidding, we don't. I wish to start the Fridays off right. So C, I've actually filled with Cavicide that has been diluted properly. So this one does say cleaning on it. So if you turn the dial to C, it doesn't make an actual noise. You just turn it. I'm that person. I like sound effects. So if you turn it to C, which is this cartridge, because we're A, B, C, and then this one in the back is D, I'm always here for that D filled with distilled water. Yeah, if y'all watch the nighttime lectures, y'all be like, oh, here she goes. But C is filled with the cleaning product. So if you're going to run the machine just to clean out the tubing and the actual machine itself, you can just turn it on and then you can cover it with your thumb or just sit it on top of the stool and it'll actually suction through and it will help cycle through the machine. So it'll clean it and then you will see that in the back as the waste liquid. And please make sure you empty the waste liquid after each of your clients. Don't just wait till, well, mine only filled it up halfway. Somebody else can fill it up and then they'll dump it. No, dump it. Always dump it, no matter what. So you do have options. It'll let you choose A, B, C, or D. I'll put it back on the D for you guys so you guys can play around. But it also, this particular machine has an adjustment for how much water is flowing through. So you have a minimum, a maximum. I've noticed it works best on the halfway point. And same for the air suction on this one. It has a minimum and a maximum. I have it, well, it was about at the halfway. There we go. But if you notice you need a little more suction, you can turn up the air on it so it will suction a little harder. So again, if you need that adjustment. But if you have somebody that's a little more sensitive, then you may want to. Joanna's like, how you turn it down? She's like, why? Because we were playing with the vacuum suction. She was like, too spicy. So we turned it down. So if you have a client that says it's a little spicy, just turn it down. Turn down the air suction. So we were playing with that also when I was doing the instructors one. And they were like, oh no, it's tight. It's pulling too much skin. Like, it's so spicy. But see, now you're gonna remember it. You're gonna walk up to the machine and be like, now we can start. Just like start from the minimum. And if you want to start from the minimum air suction and then work your way up, you can. But I have it set to the middle section, so kind of medium. And oh yeah, I did tell you guys that I would show you or talk to you about the rest of these that are on here. And I will say there's one that I don't have a soul, so it doesn't work for me. So we want So this first one I'll go ahead and turn on is the cold hammer, and then I'll talk to you guys about the other one. So it'll take a few seconds to get cold, and then you guys can come up here and touch it. But that's actually this one. But this is the one that it's the ultrasonic scrubber. So if you guys have seen people on YouTube or Instagram using one of these, probably without the attachment, it's probably one that's free that you can recharge. You actually just take it. Normally you'll press the dial that's on the front if it's one that's a rechargeable one, and you'll go over the skin. Huh? Oh, you have that kind? Let me see it. I can show 'em. Come on, come on down, Joanna. It is amazing, isn't it? It gets all the stuff out of the pores. So anybody that has like a little congestion, like as soon as you put it next to it, the microcurrent just makes everything vibrate out of the skin, and it's almost painless. So this is like, I mean, I would say it's pretty painless. So she has one of the cordless ones. This one, this has a nice silicone grip on it too. It's fancy. Oh yeah, because I was like, this is a good one. So she paid $100 for this one, and I will say I got some $30 ones on Amazon. Yeah, and they work, but they probably work for like maybe 10 minutes, and then I have to recharge it right away. So, and that's what I was like, this one, because I was like, not Joybird. Yeah. And there's one brand called BT Micro. So it's B as in boy, T Micro. Theirs is oh yours is pretty quiet too. I was like, yours is good. Does it have different set? Yeah. Okay, Dermaflash. I had to type it in the chat for the online students so they understand. Hers is Dermaflash. Oh, you can use it for the whole face. So you can use it two ways. So it can be used for extractions. So if you're using either, and hers has the two different pulses. So it's got the smooth pulse and then got that one, which this machine also has both pulses. And what'll happen is you can use it for extractions or you can apply a serum to the face. So like one of those serums, or if you're applying the moisturizer, your toner, and you can use the back flat spatula side, and you can actually use it to help the product penetrate better. So twofold. But this one, whereas hers has a nice sleek button on the back that's almost invisible, this one has these two mechanisms on the side. And normally when anybody else touches it, it will start vibrating and it'll make the sound. I don't have a soul. And they said, go wet your hands. Wet my hands, touch the two sides, nothing. Somebody else will walk up and then it, and they're like, what is wrong? I'm like, I don't have a soul. It's okay. How I'm built. But I'll let you guys definitely play with it. And if y'all want to come up and touch the cold hammer, y'all can see how cold it actually gets. But come on up and get your Derma Flash. So in case y'all have anybody with the sensitivity and you need to use this instead of the cold globe.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
See why you gotta come up and thank you, ma'am. It's your fancy, you
Do you use it like the
It
same
doesn't
way
hurt.
as the globe?
Yeah, you can use it the same way you use the cold globe. It's crazy. And I mean, it gets cold in seconds. Just like,
What is it called?
I mean, it's just or it's called a cold hammer, but
Cold
I
hammer?
mean,
I want to.
we don't go into that. Don't worry.
Which one is it? Is it the,
We got
is
20
it the hyperficial?
Mm-hmm. Don't let them touch the cold one. She's like, hey. Yes. Because you've got to add in serum, so definitely charge more. Definitely charge more. And that was for like body cavitation. That's what this was. I know I'm touching it like it's cold. But again, this one on here has a little button that button to turn it off and on, or if you want to use the screen to turn it off and on, you can and adjust the settings of how cold. Because I don't think I was here when we had one person did a chemical peel on themselves at home. It was interesting. And they kind of, it went a little too fast, too far too fast. And so their face was still warm to the touch the next day. So I was like, come here, I want to try the new cold hammer. So we were like rubbing the cold hammer. So in case the cold globes were already in use by somebody else, you can grab the hyperfacial machine if it isn't being used, or if it's being used next to you, just take the cold hammer and like, let me see that. I need it real fast. In case somebody's face felt spicy. Good way to do. Make sure you EPA it down though. And also, this is the fabulous facelift. It uses radio frequency, and you'll just touch whichever area and turn it on. You can dial it up. I think it goes up to 20 on this machine. So they used to have one at Ulta that it went up real high. And we would do, we called it the weekend facelift. Because it only holds, because it gets the muscle tense and it holds it for a few days. Some people it holds a little longer, but it only goes a little bit. So you would put it on whichever area, and then slowly you start to see the muscle is contracting and then it'll hold it up. So that's what they were doing, their brows first. And then I had one student was like, what if I do my cheek? So then she started doing her cheek, and then she turned around and we like, girl, even it out. And I was like, how long did you hold it on this one? She was like, I don't know. I was like, what song you just played on Alexa? I was like, just play the same song again and or check the time on the song and do it on the other side. So it'll actually will like lift the area. Just a few days. But I mean, if you're somebody that moves your face around a lot, let me get so I can see them. If you're just, it did. Like, and her cheeks look so plump, and the other one was doing her eyebrows. And then I walked in and I see somebody, I can just see the elbow from the back, like doing this. What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. But if you guys want to try it on like any of your muscles, like test it out so you can see. She's like, she's like, there we go. Let's get these muscles. Let's tighten up these muscles. This one actually, there's a little vial that attaches to this, and it's a sprayer. So if you want to load it with toner or something like that, you can load it, and then it'll suction from the little vial that attaches to this rubber casing, and then it'll spray out for you. So if you want to attach some toner in there, you absolutely can. So voila. But well, I got a few more minutes till I know John is like, I want to see it before my appointment starts. Here, let me switch to the so y'all can see how the big tip will produces a lot of water. And do make sure that you're in a good position because like this is where my thumb will be, so I can turn it on. But if you're in a position where that's gonna make you keep turning it off while you're working, you may want to adjust it to where it's on top. So that way you can get a good grip without constantly turning it off and on as you're moving your thumb. Because that sound can get annoying while you're the client laying there and it'll make you anxious like, well, what's going on with the machine? Is it working or not? Like, what is happening? But I'm one of those, I usually like it on the side, so. I will make sure this is all distilled water. And I'm gonna just do my arm real quick so you guys can see. I'm like, and watch it not be sloppy this time like it was the other day. Because I had another student that was like, the water was everywhere. I was like, which tip were you using? She's like, I don't know. I was like, it might have been the big one. So it was collecting too much water in the front. And if y'all want to get close so y'all can see, just I'm like, man, woo. Well, pretend I have gloves on, and then I'll let y'all play with it too. So turn it on, and then as soon as you make contact with the skin, you'll see it start to fill up with the water. And then move across. Oh, we can see I didn't put lotion on. So as you can see, it's suctioning the water up as I move across. So, well, I've left it there for a long time, but I'm also a very, very light-skinned Black person. So you can see a lot more of the redness in me. You see the erythema action happen, just like especially if somebody hits me. So my brother used to do that all the time, run by and hit my arm, and then you can see his whole handprint. And my mom was like,
Now you're in trouble.
you hit her. Okay. Like, you did it. You're the one. It's on medium. Do you want to try it on your? You can tell us. I contaminate you. You know what? Turn. I don't. Well, how's it feel? What? Not
I
Joanna.
like the water.
See, but this too, it does leave more. I mean,
It feels better than microderm. Oh yeah.
okay. So how does it feel better than the microderm for you?
Feels good. That's fresh.
Feels awful.
Feels better than a microderm. Oh my god, I'm right there.
She's like, oh my god, I'm right there.
Because the microderm, the tip is like really abrasive, and I don't like that. But that, it's not abrasive at all. It's just like smooth, and you feel the water. It feels cool, yeah.
It is cool.
I mean, it's just that it's room temperature, but it might be feeling kind of cold. You wanna? Yeah, I can make it. She said I don't want to do it first. You can play it. Anybody? Give an arm. So your button is right there? Yep. And online, y'all have any questions? She also said it feels better than the microderm. Okay. So normally you'd be using a smaller tip, so it won't leave that little puddle of water. Yeah. So that's why I was like, use the bigger tip for the back. I wouldn't use that one for the face because it does give you that, like,
you press the button before you go in.
I don't know, you can just press the button before you start and then just start your hydrofacial and leave it on as you work. Did you just press it to turn it off?
Or you don't have to hold it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because once it's on, it's on. But tilt so that way you don't, no little hickeys.
You have to do the same thing. Like,
Yeah, so you would make your, yeah, so break your section and just keep your strokes parallel. But if you see the inside of that one, it doesn't have like the little vortex, whereas these have that little swirl inside. So that's also what keeps it from, yeah, which keeps it from pushing so much water out all at once. and then it actually will suck up more of that water so it won't leave excess water. Yeah, it's got the smaller. And that one is just open.
On your friends and friends. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay, got
So you could be imparting serums, but it's also resurfacing the skin. So don't go wax your arms right away. At least not in that area. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to try to play before you go run off with your. You're good. Right. So see how you still get that good erythema, which is great because that erythema reaction is also going to help with cell turnover. And it's going to help with rejuvenation. Exactly, increasing blood flow. I know it does give you a good roadmap for like, okay, this is where I just was. Like, easy to see. So in case y'all are wondering when y'all do microderms, and I'm like, stay right side by side. It's because I'm looking at the erythema, like, okay, stay right next to it. You're past the seat. Do it. Did you play with it yet, Kendall?
No, scared.
Then y'all can. And then y'all can really take it in the treatment room and play with it. Or if y'all want to play with it right here too. Hmm. And then you'll break your suction when you get to the end. There you go. Perfect. Is it battle? There. Then the microderm. I don't either. And I don't know if it's because I'm paint shop exactly, or if it's because I'm like, it's working. I don't mind the feel of the microderm, but again, it might be that, ooh, it's working feel. So, or that concept in my head, like oilier skin, like, no, I need a foamy wash. I don't want a creamy facial wash. Like, exactly. She's like, I like that. And I do want y'all to play with the other tips. So if y'all want to get set up and then find a body part so y'all can use it. Look at her. She's like, and I know how to turn it off. So you guys can see that it doesn't drift as much when you have that vortex inside of the tip.
So you would just buy one of these just to have, I mean, that versus the microderm.
Yes, because who might be a better candidate for a hydrofacial than a microdermabrasion? Yes, somebody with some dry skin or maybe mature skin, somebody who needs more hydration. So they may be the person that's a better candidate because you need to impart the hydration and help that penetrate their face rather than just resurfacing and exfoliating with the vacuum and the microdermabrasion tip. So having an additional option for them, you know, an additional upcharge is always great to have in-house. Like, okay, well, let me get that going. Let me add something to you today. I like it. So, and that'll make them feel more special. Like, oh, girl, I went and got a hydrofacial. Huh? Or hydrofacial. So, because again, you can tell them, oh, well, I'm custom blending your serums in here. This is just for you today. This is not something you can go by. And that's another thing about having modalities is that because people cannot just go buy the whole machine, or even if they do, it doesn't come with instructions. So even if they did get it off of Amazon, it did not come with the instructions. So they would know exactly. They are paying for your expertise. So, charge them for it. So I'm excited. Feel like I got some good hydrofacials Yeah, gonna be like when the new students come in, like you got dry skin to come here. I need to get a sign off. Come with me. Like it's gonna be hilarious. Like, right. She's like, you don't have contraindications yet. Come here. You haven't been microdermed. Like, I'll take you. I was like, did any of my online y'all feeling good about everything? Are y'all over there on Amazon adding it to your cart? Is that what's going on? Hmm. Right. She's like, just add to what you. Oh, and that is one thing I do tell you guys to do that often is to make yourself a business list. So basically, it'll be ready for your business shower. So upon graduation, you can send everybody your links. Or if you're working on your friends and family at home, because I know y'all do, it's always the right way to do it. That's the wrong thing. Instead of them tipping you all, send them the link and ask them, can they purchase some of the supplies that you have already in your list? So things like mascara wands, your 4x4s, loaded up with multiples of those. So multiple people can buy you. Because those packs of 4x4s, I know they look like there's some cotton rounds or something. Those cost $20 a piece for that pack that y'all eat up in a day. So so add 4 or 5 of those in your cart. Add a bunch of cotton rounds. Anything that you think you're going to use, even if you feel like you're going to use these bibs when you're working in your space, add those tattoo bibs to your cart or dental bibs. So that way they can, I know Melissa's probably like, dental bibs. I was gonna say, so instead of tipping you, thank you. I'm like, instead of tipping you, it's like, hey, because that used to be my model fee. When people like, oh, I can be your model for, okay, I just need you to pick something off of this cart, off of this list. I'll send you the link. And you can have it so that it ships to you and they don't see your address or anything, but they can leave you a nice little note and it'll ship straight to you and they won't see your address. So it's a good way, especially as a student. Like people are such more willing to help you guys. So like, hey, it is getting close to my graduation. I would love you all's help. And add that, because you would be shocked. I was shocked somebody bought a lamp that I wanted that was a few $100s that I had in my cart. I was like, well, y'all love me. Y'all really, really love me. So online, see, could I be a thing? Is there any way we can try it at home? I don't know. I know I wish I were here to play too. I know Savannah used to be. Everyone's like, yes, I'm looking on Amazon. Just make sure I get their name. But if you guys do want to come on campus for a day, please email me or Miss Shanna and let us know. And I'll make sure we have time and there's an instructor available to help you with the with all of the machines. So that doesn't just go for hydrofacial. So if y'all want to come up here to practice microderm or microdermabrasion, you absolutely can come up here and do that. So don't think that we don't. We actually would love that. Christina said road trip. Yes. Where do you live, Christina? Are you that far that it's a road trip? Because I know we do have some students that are pretty far away. I'm glad Kimball. Are you right next to me? Girl, I never knew you were that far. All this time. Lissette's in New York. I know. Wow. I got one of you guys. Was it? I know I have. Is it Robin that's in Chicago? Hmm. I know we have 300 students online. Yeah. Lubbock. Okay, Victoria, come run it up one Friday with me. That's easy. Come on. Mm. This one here, Miss Alyssa, rolling in at 11:56. No, for real, Victoria, if you're in Lubbock, like, come see us. Let me know if there's a Friday and Saturday, or if there's a Thursday and Friday you want to come up here and. She said, with the gas prices, I'm gonna just buy the machine. I'm not mad at that at all. At all. Not even mad at it. Christina's one, she keeps me going. Kendall used to be my other one. But now she's here with us. And I get my babies in house. But I get it because gas prices are high. It is getting, and it's gonna keep going. Would I need to bring a model? If you could bring a model, that would be great. If not, I can snatch a student for you. Because we usually have plenty of lash students that are always like, you said model? I can be on the clock? Yes, because I need you for learning purposes. I'm pulling you. Yes, you can be on the clock while you get this done. So, yeah. Look, and tell them. Because sometimes I have a couple lash students that have not worked on a human and they need to. So, like, yes, no, we love that. We absolutely love that. So it is now 2 till 12. I know some people are like, can you just say 11:58? It's 11:58. And I do want you girls that are in here to get hands on and at least play around on somebody's arm or something, or a leg, a calf. If somebody has some ingrown hairs, maybe run over them and see what it'll look like with the hydrofacial machine, even if it's just on distilled water. Ooh. So if somebody, and she's got 2 legs. So I was like, and y'all can all get a sign off for practicing on her. So that'll be awesome. And then if y'all will give her a body part to practice on when you finish with her, that'll be great. Yeah. Do it as a whole. We'll do it because you have an option with Pro 60 and a Pro 30. So, okay. So let's do it as a Pro 30 as a leg hydrofacial on her. That'll be awesome. So y'all can get ready for that. And online, you guys are dismissed unless you have any other questions, or if you have a secret question you want to ask, just email me.
Miss Olay, when are you going over this again?
Um,
I'm at work and I was like, hydrofacial.
I know, because it's supposed to be the first Friday of the month, but they sprung it on me today and said, hey, do it now. So, you know, I razzle and dazzle, throwing glitter everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. For night, we'll see. I may throw in another
Okay.
one. You missed the other one that I did for the night class.
I
So.
know.
Awesome. And for the online students, I'll make sure you guys get your additional hour of time for this lecture. So awesome. Christina's laughing. So thank you guys for learning. Mute yourself, Alyssa. So no, that was her. Yeah, she's at work. So thank you guys for learning. You guys online are dismissed. Y'all have a good weekend. And of course, you guys can go set up for hydrofacialing. Absolutely.